substance that every man, woman, boy, and girl in this world is born with, but is only released, listen, it is only released by evidence. And when that evidence is manifested, that surety of evidence, the overwhelming evidence of Yahweh and His Word and His leading and His halakha in your life leads you to zealousy and to zealotry. Does this make sense? Amen. How come people are saved and not zealous? How come people are saved and lukewarm? How come people are saved and do nothing? I can't sit still. That's just me. It's not my personality. I've seen too much evidence. I've seen too much evidence. 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 Do you have enough evidence? Evidence. Evidence. Frederick, Kentucky Chicken Price. I'm not making fun of the man. I admire him. He's walked in faith. You know why? Because he's seen evidence. Evidence produces a zealousy that no man can convince you you're wrong, because the love, the mercy, the chesed, the rachamim of Yahweh has been manifest so often, so regular. That manna, that truth that Yahweh has flows daily into your life. You'd be a bumbling idiot to deny the evidence of Yahweh's reality working in your life. So that's what produces zealotry. Pinchus had overwhelming evidence that he was not just a priest because he was the son of Aharon, the grandson. He had personal evidence from a personal relationship, and he knew that he had the authority and the unction and the word and the command of Yahweh to manifest Yahweh's hatred of the mixing of the tahor with the tamai. Tahor is purity. Tamai is common. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Emunah, faith, is the fuel that leads to the zealousness of Yahweh. And in Ivrim chapter 11, Hebrews, the entire chapter. Turn to your neighbor and say the entire chapter. Let's try that again. The chapter in its entirety speaks of man who tasted the evident substance of Yahweh. Evident substance. Faith is not blind faith, like faith in the river and sun, young moon. That's blind faith. Biblical faith is fed by a continual stream of evidence. I could have been dead, but I'm alive. I wasn't supposed to give birth, but I have grandchildren. Amen. I was supposed to be bald from chemotherapy, but I have more hair than mama. Evidence. Does your life have evidence? If your life has evidence, then that will fuel that gift of zealousness that is inside of you. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, so that substance is on the inside of every. Yeshua said to every man is given a measure of substance. Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Substance abuse is the dark counterfeit of faith. When we use substance, we are abusing substance. When the substance inside of you desires to what? To touch Yahweh and to receive from Yahweh the evidence of that desire in your heart. And the way to manifest the desire in your heart, to receive the evidence, is to call upon the name of Yahweh. Hello? Whoever calls upon the name of Yahweh will be saved. One thing I have taught of Yahweh, that desire to live in His temple, to seek the beauty of Yahweh and holiness. Hello? When you seek me, you'll find me. When you seek me and when you search for me with all your heart. Not part-time, all your heart. Looking for, searching for, seeking for Yahweh is a full-time job. Yeah. Every one of you in this room are already employed full-time. Maybe that's why you have so much time on your hands. Yahweh wants you're fully employed in seeking Yahweh. And then He'll fill in the blanks. He'll fill in the Sundays and the Mondays. Because every one of his children have a full-time job, hello? Which is serving, seeking, and ministering to Yahweh. And then to others. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Strong emunah is the fuel of the zealousness of Yahweh. It is from the depths of man that emunah, faith, must spring. Faith, emunah, is the substance of things hoped for and believed. And zealotry, as I said, reveals itself once the human heart and mind has put aside all the inhibitions and the roadblocks to the inner cleaving that we have to be one with the Creator. You missed it. In Yochanan chapter 7, Yeshua prayed, Father, I pray not that you be saved and go to heaven. No, I pray that you be saved and go to heaven. He said, no, I'm going further than that. I'm zealous for my children. I'm praying that they'll be one even as we are one. Amen. Now, does that mean that we're going to become Yahweh if we eat enough filter fish and matzo ball soup and we put on blue tzitzit? Does that mean that eventually we're going to become Yahweh? I and the Father are one. Father, I pray that they may be one like we are one. And all those who deny the deity of Yeshua say, well, does that mean we're going to be Yahweh? No, it doesn't mean we're going to be Yahweh. It means you're going to have the zealousy to obey Abba that Yeshua manifested in his zealous ministry to obey Yahweh. Amen. The Father loves Yeshua because he always does the things that please the Father. Amen. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. So we have an inner cleaving in our heart to cleave to the Creator, but we only cleave to the Creator when we see evidence, and the only time we can get the evidence is when we have the substance released, and the substance released is not through study, it's not through learning, it's not through wisdom, it's not through intellect, it's not through maps, it's not through yeshivot, it's not through midrashim. The only way to release the substance that leads to evidence, emunah. Hello? Yahweh said it. It settles it. Whether I believe it or not doesn't matter. Why are there some believers who are saved for 50 years and accomplish nothing? Because they have the same blood of Yeshua that you have, but they don't have the zeal consuming them. Amen. They don't have the zeal of Yahweh consuming them. And lack of zeal is basically, at its basic element, lack of faith. Lack of emunah. If you have a lot of faith, you'll have a lot of evidence. And if you got a lot of evidence, you will blow up the devil's kingdom for Yahweh. You will strap a spiritual backpack to your back, and you'll go into the depths of iniquity and declare the Bisarot, the good news, the light, the goodness of Yahweh has come in the land of the living. Hallelujah, somebody. Hallelujah. You'll put on a spiritual backpack and enter the depths. You'll go down to the valley of the shadow of death. And you'll fear no evil, for Yahweh's rod and his staff will comfort you. And you'll blow up doctrine, and you'll blow up wormwood, and you'll blow up traditions of men, and you won't worry about what men and women think. That's right. Because that zeal will send you into caverns and in places where Hamas hides in the caves of the earth. It said that Edom has a problem. Edom can be found hiding and dwelling in the caves of the earth. Look at those folks over there that are hiding in the caves of the earth. Pakistan and Afghanistan. They don't look like you and me. They're not white. They're not black. They're red. Red, Edom. You can see in their skin color. But Hamas, they're violent. They hate their brother Jacob, and they live in the caves of the earth. Read Obadiah. You'll see Edom in the latter days will live in the caves of the earth. The terrorists. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Oh my. So zealousness, listen, for Yahweh is birthed by faith. Zealousness for religion or misplaced zealousness for Allah is birthed by emotion and intellect. They are convinced that the Quran is the word of Yahweh as much as you are convinced that the Bible is the word of Yahweh. They are led by intellect. They are led by study. You cannot relate to Yahweh through study. You cannot relate to Yahweh through intellect. Do you understand what I'm saying? You've got to relate to him from the heart and say, Yahweh, I care, I love you. I love you. I don't know. I love you. I'll do whatever you tell me to do. I'll do things before people ask me to do those things. Okay? Now, don't miss up. When I made that reference to skin color, I wasn't talking about if you're light-skinned black or light-skinned. No. I'm talking about a certain red pigmentation that the Ruach HaKodesh shows you. Okay? But even that person, so you know, in case you're new to our teaching, can become Israel by accepting the King of Israel. Amen. So how does Yahweh change an Edomite? By turning them into Israelite. Hello? Not their skin color, but changing their heart, their identity as a son of Israel. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. The zealotry, listen, of a human being responds to the slightest manifestation of Chilul Hashem. Write it down. That's what Pinchus was motivated by. He was responding zealously to the evidence he had seen in his priesthood as a Kohen. But it was zealousy or zealotry with a purpose. Turn to your neighbor and say, zealousy with a purpose. Zealotry with a purpose. The purpose is the guardian to protect and guard Chilul Hashem. What is Chilul Hashem? All you Ephraimites should know this. What is Chilul Hashem? Wake up, child. The desecration of the true name of Yahweh. Yahweh's name can be desecrated, Chilul Hashem, not just by someone cursing the name or using Yahweh's name in vain or in vanity or hiding it or erasing it and replacing it with Lord, but it could be desecrated by desecrating not just his literal name, Yud He Vav He, but the character and the integrity that is associated with that name. Yahweh is a bigamist. Yahweh is a polygamist. Yahweh is a sexual deviant. If you start thinking like that, you are Chilul Hashem. Chilul Hashem. Okay, Yeshua had sex with Mary Magdalene, and therefore Mary Magdalene was at the Last Supper, and they had children. Okay, now that kind of thinking, what is that called in the world?
Stinking thinking.
The what?
Stinking thinking.
No, the other, there's a book that teaches that Miriam of Magdala was married to Yeshua. What's that? The Da Vinci Code. Thank you. The Da Vinci Code. Believing the lies of something like the Da Vinci Code, that is Chilul Hashem. Meaning Yeshua was not sinless, meaning Yeshua had relations with a woman, meaning Yeshua had children, and his first wife was Miriam of Magdala. Hello? That is Chilul Hashem. Desecration of the name, not just the name, but the character of Yahweh. So what is the difference between zealotry for Yahweh and zealotry of man? Zealotry of man results in what? Death, dying, and destruction. Allahu Akbar! Aren't they zealous?
Oh yeah.
Does that zealotry lead to life, or does it lead to destruction, heartbreak, and untold nightmares of human suffering? Hello? A tree is known by its fruit, right?
Amen.
So the zealot, you know why? Why are they more zealous than many believers? Because they are motivated by emotion, by the soulish realm. Listen, the senses, the five senses. They're motivated by the soulish realm, and thus they are sowing death. And if you sow to the flesh, you will reap death and corruption.
Amen.
But if you sow to the Ruach, you will reap life, and that everlasting.
Amen.
Make sense?
Amen.
So the zealotry that leads to death is always accessed through the intellect and the emotions. If you're going to serve Yahweh, you must successfully, not just show up with the Bible on Shabbat. If you're going to serve Yahweh successfully, you must learn never to rely on your intellect or your emotions, but rather Yahweh speaks to the hidden man of the heart.
Amen.
And he beautifies and adorns the hidden man of the heart.
Amen.
He beautifies and adorns it. Amen?
Amen.
Which in the sight of Yahweh is of great price. So zealotry has its roots in understanding the divine character of Yahweh. That Yahweh is pure. That Yahweh cannot behold sin. That behold, he cannot look at iniquity. Forget about tolerate iniquity. Yahweh cannot look at iniquity. Without holiness, no man shall see Yahweh. And without understanding Yahweh's holiness, no man will see Yahweh, and Yahweh will allow no man to understand him. You've got to have a reverence for his holiness.
Amen.
His character. He is set apart, undefiled, and separate from sinners.
Amen.
He will come again, separate, undefiled, for those who look for him unto deliverance. Amen?
Amen.
So the Chilul Hashem Yahweh, the desecration of the name of Yahweh, means that his character is being attacked. His character is being besmirched. His character or his name is being falsely dragged through the mud. Hello?
Amen.
Hello?
Amen.
That's Chilul Hashem.
Amen.
Chilul Hashem Yahweh. However, zealotry that has its roots in a love of divine purity, zealotry that has its roots in a love for holiness, kedusha, zealotry that has as its roots a desire to be kadosh, be ye kadosh, even as I am kadosh, saith Yahweh. A zealotry that desires to be kadosh, like Yahweh is kadosh, leads to a state of
Life.
completion. The Hebrew word for completion is shelemut, which is derived from the root of shalom. Shalom, shelemut. So when Yahweh says, I have given to Pinchus, the son of Eleazar, notice, look at verse 12, my brit of shalom, the actual Hebrew word is, listen, my covenant of shalom, based on a state of completion or shlemut. Are you getting this? So in other words, Pinchus was a better priest than his brothers. Correct? Why? Because they had the priesthood, but he had shelemut. He had the priesthood, but he also had the shelemut, or the completion, because when Yahweh's reputation and name and character was at stake by the Midianite pagan bringing in her pagan deities, her pagan ways, her pagan mannerisms into the camp, Pinchus, not Phineas, glory to God. Turn to your neighbor and say, Pinchus. Not Phineas, Pinchus. Phineas. What on earth is that? It sounds like a sandwich. I'll take two Phineas and 2 Mountain Dews. When Pinchus saw the children of Israel being polluted, Yahweh's holiness being attacked, his kedusha being attacked, he right away went into action, took the sword, and thrust through Zimri and Cosbi. Zimri and Cosbi. Well, in the natural, using the 5 senses, what do we call that?
Murder.
Murder. Yahweh called it shlemut. A man who has entered wholeness. The book of Gilead speaks of the latter-day tribulation Kedoshim, who love not their life even unto death, because they hold to the testimony of Yeshua and love his mitzvot, his Torah. And they love not their life even unto death. So when the name of Yahweh is being desecrated, his character, his holiness, his set-apartness, and you and I rise up to remove defilement from the camp, to remove iniquity from the camp, Yahweh calls that a man or woman who is consumed by the zeal of Yahweh. So Rabbi Moshe has a reputation, but it's not earned. I have a reputation for throwing people out. But you know something? A lot of that is the zeal of Yahweh. It's not a mean spirit.
That's right.
How come I'm not being commended for asking people to leave? Iniquity, Chilul Hashem, the desecration of Yahweh's character, His goodness. And when we ask people to get right and to make things right and to get their life in line with Yahweh, we're accused of being mean-spirited. You know why? Because those people are thinking through their emotions. They're thinking through their intellect. That's not zeal for Yahweh. Zeal for Yahweh cannot be approached by a human being. It must be approached by emunah, which, as you said, in itself, is a gift of the Ruach HaKodesh. Emunah, by grace you, by chesed you are saved, through emunah, not of yourselves. It is, what is? It is, what is? It is, emunah is the gift of Yahweh. So the gift of emunah is what saves you and puts you into the priesthood, but it's the zealousness of Yahweh that allows you to grow in your priesthood and serve Him, not just to love on the hurting and to love on the despondent and to love on the oppressed, but also to remove and confront wrongness and confront iniquity. See, a lot of you, I just want to walk in, I just want to walk in, That's why I walk in love. Well, if you just want to walk in love, you don't have the zeal of Yahweh. Because Yahweh loved enough that He allowed the zeal of His Son to lead to the death of the righteous for the unrighteous, the death of the just for the unjust, to purge the people of Israel. If you just want to walk in love, you don't know anything about Yahweh. If you want to be a Pinchus, you're going to have to walk in love and in righteous indignation when you see Chilul Hashem, Yahweh, taking place. And when you walk in indignation, when you see the Chilul Yahweh, Chilul Hashem, Yahweh taking place, people are going to do this to you. Or do, I mean... Yeah, they'll use every finger they can come up with. And P.S., you're unloving.
Yes.
P.S., you're mean-spirited. Why? Because we don't want the character of Yahweh misrepresented.
Amen.
She wasn't in the camp just defiling this man. What was the man's name again? Let's check. Zimri? Huh? Zimri, a Shimeonite? No, the woman was Zimri. No, the Midianite woman was Cosby, yeah? Yeah, and the man was Zimri. She wasn't just corrupting Zimri, she was corrupting the whole family of Shimeon. Hello? And the family of Shimeon was corrupting the whole nation. So Pinchas' zealotry gave life. See? Misplaced zealotry based on what? Emotion, study, intellect, the five senses, leads to death, right? But proper zealotry, and listen, proper zealotry can only be motivated by a desire to guard and protect the character of Yahweh. Now let me ask you, can we talk? Let me ask you a question. Do these guys who go around killing people on London buses and in New York Twin Towers, are they motivated to protect the pure love and goodness of their deity's character? Or is it designed to manipulate political circumstance by spilling enough blood that nations acquiesce and cry out in defeat and wave the white flag? Fine, we'll change our politics because we can't stand any more blood being spilled on our streets, so we'll change our politics. That killing doesn't go on for Chilul Hashem. That killing goes on in order to perpetuate death. It's a culture of death.
Yeah, amen.
Is any of this making sense?
Amen.
What's this message? The purpose of Pinchas' zealotry. You can't just be zealous for the sake of zealousy. You have to be zealous for only to guard and protect Yahweh's character as a believer. And Yahweh said, then you will enter a Brit Shalom or a Brit Shelemut. In other words, when you're more interested, listen,